Today I want to make a video about Pangea and about the earthquake in Lisbon in 1755. Okay, first I want to start off with this. This is from a book about masonry. It's called Ancient Mythic Oriental Masonry or something like that. Um, and basically, it talks about the beginning of time. Okay, now, I'm not saying that I'm a Mason because I've already said this, I'm not. But I'm referring to this book about what they're speaking about, what happened, and they're speaking about this earthquake that happened in Lisbon in 1755. So I'm just going to read it with you real quick. It says it's on page 26. Interwoven with the very warp and woof of all sacred literature, Christian and pagan refer to occurrences as literally true as the earthquake of Lisbon. Okay, so just I'm sorry, I'm at work, so I do have to put it on pause periodically. Probably not the best place to make a video, but you know, um, I'm 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 just following what I'm learning, and I just want to get the video out. So, okay, so it literally true as the earthquake of Lisbon. These stupendous events being connected primarily with a great destruction and recovery of equilibrium in the solar system. And secondly, with the consequent wrecking of the continent of America when the globe became involved in the consequences of the disorder of the skies. America, known as the mystic Atlantis, when this ruin befell, was the seat of the greatest empire that has ever existed, and its irresistible armies were terrorizing all Europe and Asia. Now, I also saw something that was similar to this about Atlantis being over in that area in Algeria, right where the Pangea would have existed. Okay, now let's go to some other stuff in my email. Oh, sorry, I gotta go back to my inbox. Okay, I'm at work, so I'm trying to do this on the fly. Okay, so I want to start with Pangea. So I'm gonna lift my phone up a little. It's gonna be a little wobbly, so you can see this. Okay. All right. So this is what could have been Pangea right here in Africa, North America, and South America. This is right there where the possible Atlantis ruins look like they're left. Now, if you look at where North America and Atlanta are at, right? I mean, I'm sorry, North America, Atlanta, and Africa, and that's exactly where they're saying it's at, right there. I mean, come on. Like that's if that's not a puzzle piece, I don't know what is. So we start off and we break off from Europe, right? We start off in this Pangea where North America is above Africa, and this is what is called Egypt right here, okay? So then we have, if you look at here, if you put Europe on top of that, we have the Port Lisbon right there. So you almost literally can put Lisbon in there. Okay, now let me move. I'm going to put the phone back. Hopefully it'll stay. Okay. And I want to show you some fault lines. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the fault lines. Now let's look at the Africa fault line right here. This is where the European, the North American, and the African fault line meet in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, right there. But Lisbon is right here, right? And Atlantis, the ruins where they claim it's right, is right there. I'm putting you on pause again. Hold on. Okay, so this is really interesting because if you look at this is exactly where Lisbon had this earthquake in 1755, so they say. Now, it also affects the Algiers and that type of area, right? Which is where this would have been, okay? North America would have been in here, right? Like above this. So if this earthquake happened in right here, you would, and you see Atlantis lining up with Atlanta. I mean, just think about it. Like, it's not that difficult to understand. Like, it is the truth. Okay, so let me see. I have some more. These are the plates. I just wanted to show you more about the plates. You have the African plate, you have the European plate, you have the northern plate, and this is where this earthquake formed, supposedly. Okay. Then we have Revelation 16, talking about, and this is where the biblical comes in. This is where it shows that the city of Jerusalem was broken up into three pieces. Now we talked about this in part one, because this is part two of the information about the Pangea plate tectonic breakup. Okay. And there were noises and thunderings and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, so mighty and great earthquake as had not occurred since men were on the earth. Now the great city was divided into three parts, and the cities of the great city nations fell. And great Babylon was remembered before God to give her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. Then every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. So we see that in Revelation 16, we see this earthquake. Okay. Now, we can say that Revelation 16 has already happened because they claim that this earthquake right here happened in. Hold on, I'm going to have to download this maybe. No, I can't. Okay, here we go. They claim that this earthquake happened in 1755, but my guess is that this is a lie. Okay, so this is a short of what I'm going to read, and then I'm going to read a little more about the so-called fake story behind the 1755 so-called earthquake. I believe that it happened in more like 755. Well, Jesus was still reigning here during the 1,000-year reign. I believe that he broke up the city. I believe that the city was fell in 76 AD, and that he broke up the city later before he left. Okay, so I'm just going to read this to you real quick, and this is like a short of it, and then I'm going to read the actual story behind it. So they say. Okay, so I believe that, like I said, in 755, not 1755, because see, they want to lie about Jesus not being here. So if you look at, and you minus 1,000, the 1,000-year reign, or the seven, something like that, you're in like 755, right before Jesus is going to depart, because Jesus came in 1,000, or he came in 76 and left in 1,076. So, I mean, he could just be finishing off his work right before he leaves. Okay. And that's the breaking up of the city of Jerusalem. Now, according to Jason Jack in my first video, he was saying that he believes that the city of New York, the city of London, and the city of Paris were the three parts they were at one time the city of Jerusalem, that broke into the three parts from the Revelation 16 that I just read. Right? Because let's go back to Revelation 16 real quick. That's this. Does it talk about, okay, so in this one, it doesn't talk about breaking into three parts, but it does talk about the cities. Oh, yes, it does. Now, the great city was divided into three parts, and the cities of the nations fell. Okay? So he breaks Jerusalem up. Jerusalem is probably somewhere like, like right there, which would really put that close to New York. I mean, it's something like that anyway. I'm not for sure about New York and Paris and them being in the exact place. I don't know. But all I'm saying is that somewhere, wherever the city of Jerusalem was, okay, it broke up into three parts. And I believe that this is the Pangea. This North America was like over here, right? And this is like basically America. You have where, again, like I'm just repeating it, where they supposedly found the little remains of the city of Atlantis, and right, it lines up right with Atlanta, right? And then you have the earthquake of Lisbon happening, I don't know, somewhere around where New York is. I mean, it really makes sense. I mean, it's not exact, but look at this. I mean, the possibility of this really was the truth is so close. I mean, I can't deny this. I just can't deny it. All right, so let's go to the last story. This right here. Nope. Okay, well, this is the story. Okay, this is what happened in the 755 earthquake, is what I believe. On the morning, and I want you to read this, and let's break this down. Okay, on the morning of November 1st, interesting day. That's All Saints Day, right? The most demonic holiday of all, right? In what I believe, 755, when much of Portugal's population was in church, right, for All Saints Day Mass. Okay, I want to ask you, since when do Christians celebrate All Saints Day, and when do they go to church for that? Okay, so I mean, I'm just confused. Help me. So then, I know you guys can't see what I'm reading that well. Let me lift this up so you can see it a little better. And I will. So this is what I'm reading. It says, in the morning of November 1st, 1755, when everyone in Portugal's population was in church for All Saints Day, right? Halloween, yeah, right. An estimated 8.5 to 9.2 magnitude megathrust, right? This hit quickly struck the country. The seismic source was a fault in the Atlantic seafloor, where I showed you, where the North American, African, and Eurasian plates meet, releasing an amount of energy roughly equivalent to 32,000 atomic bombs. Okay, if that's not enough to move a whole two continents, I mean, not like North and South America, and break it off of Africa and break it off of the European plate, I don't know what else could. The earthquake generated a tsunami of 20 feet high in Lisbon and 65 feet high in Spain. I mean, come on. I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. Waves sped west. Waves sped west. Which way did America go? For nearly 3,800 miles to reach Martinique in the Caribbean Sea. Okay, but 3,800 miles would take America to where it's located now. I mean, come on. This stuff it can't get any more proved. And traveled east toward Algiers. Okay, so not only that, but it traveled, the water and all that traveled in Africa as well. So any little bit of that was left, let me go back to this real quick. Any little bit that was left, right, of Atlantis right here was flooded out, right? And Atlanta was split apart. So you probably have some of Atlantis here, and you have some of Atlantis here. The water ruined the city of Atlantis here, and then Atlanta was taken west with North America and South America. I mean, come on, y'all. This cannot be proved much more than this. I mean, this is, here's some more plate tectonics. Okay. Look at the plate tectonics right there above, below Portugal, in the Strait of Gibraltar, above Africa. This is where these plate tectonics, this is where the The plate goes through right here to break it off. And I do have one more story, okay, that I wanted to get read. I think this is this one. Nope, that's not it. I may not have that one on here. Let me see. Unless it's this right here. No, this isn't it. So, but although I can read that to you real quick, it says, let me make it big. This is what happened. It says Lisbon was completely destroyed by the earthquake and subsequent conflagrations. A large tsunami with a maximum height of very high, 18.3 meters, which is, something like 60 feet or 45 feet. Deaths were also reported in Morocco due to the tsunami, and all the way to the Lesser Antilles Islands. I mean, that takes us all the way to the west, where America, South America, and North America landed. So, I mean, if this doesn't, to me, show that we were at one time, not only were we Egypt, okay, because Egypt, let me show you. Egypt, this thing doesn't want to pull up the thing properly. Egypt, okay, is right, we would have been Egypt above Africa, because there would have been a trade route from England, France, England, Spain, Portugal, to the northern, through this part right here, which would have been Egypt, right? New York and all that right there. And then to the northern part of Africa. So this was the trade route. This was Egypt. And it was also the city. It had a city of Atlantis in it. Come on, you guys. I mean, it's so believable. It's so, like, it proves itself. It proves itself. All right, well, that's going to be the end of this video for today. Thank you for listening to part 2. I hope that my videos are interesting to you. And let's keep on learning more about the truth, because they've hidden the truth, but they cannot hide knowledge from us 100%. They can lie, they can make up fake stories, but they can't hide the truth 100%, because we have the information superhighway. And although they want to scratch and scrub and change, we're smart. And we have brains, because God gave us intelligent brains to use. Hallelujah. Thanks. God bless.